Hello, and welcome to medieval Roman history. The sack of Constantinople in 1204 was an infamous event in history caused by treachery, a weakened empire, and crusaders. We start in the year 1180 with the death of Manuel I Comnenus and the ascension of his son, Alexios, who became Alexios II under the regency of his mother Maria of Antioch. The empire would suffer poor leadership from this point going forward. Upon Manuel I's death, his successor Alexios and his mother would lose Cilicia, parts of Hungary, and the vassals of Antioch, Hungary, and Serbia, in just a matter of 2 years. Alexios' uncle, Andronicus, would overthrow him in Maria in the year 1183. Andronicus was a pretty bad emperor. He did reform, and the common citizen would see good side effects. But he had a great number of enemies. He destroyed the Komnenian system. The empire would become even more unstable. Under his reign, he spread anti-Latin sentiment and watched as Venetians, Genoans, and any Latin-speaking people in Constantinople be massacred by the populace. His reign would come to an end when Thessaloniki was captured by William II of Sicily. This event would turn the people of Constantinople against Andronicus, and he was brutally murdered by a mob, having possibly the most brutal end amongst all Roman emperors. But it was a well-fit end for a man of such brutality. Replacing Andronicus I would be Isaac II Angelus and his co-emperor Alexios, who was his son. Although this man started a new dynasty, they are Komnenoi through Anna Komnene, the daughter of Alexios I Komnenos. Isaac II had a mixed reign. He kicked out the Norman king, but failed to finish the job. He lost a small bits of islands in Greece to the Venetians in 1185. He would lose Bulgaria in the year 1188, but would regain a strip of it up to the Danube back in 1190. He would lose Cyprus in 1191 to Richard the Lionheart, and his reign would come to an end in 1195 on campaign against the Bulgars. When he went hunting, his brother Alexios proclaimed himself emperor, and the troops readily accepted him as the new emperor, Alexios III. And Isaac II would be blinded and his co-emperor imprisoned. Alexios III was also another terrible emperor. With a weak reign and terrible leadership, there's nothing much notable about his reign. But here we move on back to Isaac II and his son Alexios. In 1201, Alexios was smuggled out of Constantinople and brought to the Holy Roman Empire. A year later, the Fourth Crusade kicked off, and it was supposed to go to Egypt, but in need of money, raided coastline cities in the Adriatic Sea. The move got them excommunicated by the Pope, and Alexios saw this as an opportunity and was like, hey, I'll give you money that y'all needed if you help me take Constantinople. So in 1203, they and Alexios went to Constantinople for Alexios, and upon arrival laid siege to the city. Alexios III fled amongst the siege, and Alexios brought Isaac and the emperor out of his cell, and they were proclaimed emperors, as Alexios IV being the primary emperor. But it goes downhill rapidly fast when Constantinople has no kind of gold to give to the Crusaders, and the Crusaders, upon hearing this, got really angry and laid siege to Constantinople again, and the city would be brutally sacked and ravaged and stripped of its riches. Alexios IV would be overthrown by an Alexios V, and Alexios V again by a Constantine. And amongst the chaos, the Crusaders decided they wanted to keep Constantinople for themselves and carved out the new state of the Latin Empire. The Romans had no means of fighting back. The empire was in such a battered state that it straight up collapsed. All that was left of the Roman Empire at this point was the three splinter states known as Epirus, Trebizond, and Nicaea. This has been Medieval Roman History, and we are out.